So now, of course, we have to have the obligatory Twitter slides. Any presentation that's given in 2009 has to have a couple of these. How much is this worth, being one of the anointed few who are on the auto-suggested list on Twitter? Does everybody know what this is, by the way? Okay, so when you sign up for Twitter, they don't want you to start your experience with just no people. Because then when you log in, you see a blank screen with following nobody. So what they do is they give you 20 people to follow. Shaquille O'Neal, The Onion, the guy from the 70s Show, you know, just the New York Times, whatever, Will Wheaton, Threadless, etc. It's my belief that this is the new Super Bowl commercial. This is going to become one of the most powerful vehicles on the internet. If only Twitter will take the money of the people who want to give it to them. And this is where I get back to that problem, that gap between what we could be making and what we actually make. We're not aggressive enough in our industry. Like the affiliate folks and the, you know, some people are putting up these weird banners and stuff like that. But there are some really premium spaces that are just not being utilized. And this is suggested followers. You have to check them off, but 80% do. And so, if you look, these numbers, since they started doing this, have gotten really large. It used to be that the largest person on Twitter was Barack Obama with 100,000 people, then Kevin Rose with 80. I had 50 or 60. Yes, it's sour grapes, a little bit in here. But now they do this auto-follow thing, and Twitter takes off. CNN breaking news, 614,000 people. That might be more people than watch CNN at times. Obviously, they're not all tuning in. But Jimmy Fallon's got 400,000 people. I don't know what that's about. That's definitely more people than are watching the show. No offense. Anyway, these are becoming very real numbers, and I did some back of the envelope kind of math. And if you look at the Super Bowl, it's 100 million people worldwide. 50% of people see it. Let's say they see your commercial during it. It's 50 million people. It's for 30 seconds. You do a little bit of math, whatever. If your commercial was 3 million to buy, 1 million to produce, 4 million, 8 cents a view, and at the end of the day, you own a press release with this in it. But if you look at Twitter's suggest page, and I offered them $250,000 for 2 years on there, not for me, but for at questions, which is part of Mahalo, which I'll talk just very little bit about the end, if you'll permit me. And it's probably about 7 million potential followers at the rate they're at now. But people believe Twitter's just getting started and everybody's going to wind up with a Twitter account, so it could be many more than that. If you had 7 million and 5 million of them, checked off that box, or didn't uncheck it, I should say, and you had 2.5 million that remained subscribed, and 1% of them clicked on it weekly, which I think is a pretty reasonable number because I get more than that on mine currently. We have 100,000 monthly visits, 3.6 million over 2 years. You could be at 7 cents a view, and essentially what you own would be a mailing list with millions of subscribers. It's a qualitatively different thing. It's not a commercial. It's actually direct marketing. That's what is going on here with Twitter. That's why it's so... has anybody used Twitter for marketing yet? Like, aside from marketing yourself, has anybody used it like in a campaign yet? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's pretty exciting, right? I mean, it's going to work, and it's going to work in a big way. And it's just a matter of if Evan Williams, who's a good friend of mine, could just accept money. Just take the money from the marketers and make them happy. Why don't we do it in the internet industry? Why don't we take their money and over-service them and do good things for them? We have an aversion for taking the money. And so the irony of it, of course, is, this guy, dude, I don't know which one's the guy in the photo. You can probably find him, actually. He has his little image there. It's one of these guys. And he has a head cold, right? And so he wrote this when, 12:35, March 20th, and he got a reply back from Zycan. Hello. Did it click for everybody in the room who wasn't sure about what was going on with Twitter? Like, this thing is going to go insane off the charts in terms of marketing because it's open. If you want a metaphor for Twitter to really sort of understand what it is, it's like your email inbox, except it's available to everybody and open and transparent. And everybody else's is, and they're all connected. It's essentially what it is. It's all of it's half your communication that you wouldn't mind being public, which means if people are reading your email and you're like, gosh, I feel like, and I'm going to do this keynote tomorrow, and I got a head cold, and Zycan can just run in and be like, yo, free, check it out. This is going to get insane over the coming years. This could crush Twitter. Anyway, it's very compelling. I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I would do if I was the CEO of Twitter. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the future of search, because search is not withering. Search is going to get better. The search problem is, I would say, if I had to pick, it was a 9-inning game. We're in the 3rd or 4th inning. I don't think we're halfway through the game. It's very early, and I've been spending a lot of time in Korea, Japan, and China. And you know, there are 5 markets or so where Google is not #1. And we can go through them really quick. Russia, because of Yandex. They're an incumbent, not necessarily better. And then you have Asia. Yahoo is #1 in Japan and Taiwan. I guess the Taiwanese believe they're a country, China believes they're a province. And that's because SoftBank get in there, but it's also because Yahoo in Japan uses a lot more humans involved in their process and social. And then in Korea and China, Google is not dominating. And what you're looking at there is a search result from Naver. You can go check out Naver, NAVER. They have 78% market share in Korea. They make a lot of money. And they do this thing like comprehensive search, which is in sections. And they blend together content, and they blend together community knowledge exchange. And the 5th or 6th link, if you go do a Naver search, is algorithmic search. We have the 800-pound gorilla in this country, Google. They've done an amazing job at just indexing the world's information. The problem is the world's information is largely bad. The majority of the information they're indexing now is bad. When you do a search for Paris hotels, or for Starbucks, or for Madonna, how many sites do you really need? Somebody type in Madonna and tell me how many pages there are. I'm sure there's 100 million of them. The most any of us need is probably 5 in our lifetime. So what does that mean? It's just too many people competing for those top slots. SEO becomes the driving force of all of this, which results in a worse experience for users. And the reality is, search is just a technology. It's not what the process we're doing is. The process we're doing is more research. What problem solving? You're doing it, you're not searching for a website. Yeah, sure, 20 or 30% of searches are navigational. Data Sullivan will give you the exact things. He's been studying this for, I think he's been studying search for about 46 years now. 46? Since the ENIAC search was launched, I think he did his first blog post on that. It's really research. And nobody's evolved search here in the United States. People are trying little things. Social search here, human search here. Nobody's really pulled it all together in some knowledge exchange here. In fact, Yahoo, who's from Yahoo here? Raise your hand, be proud. Yes, Yahoo, great company. Yahoo actually has 3 of the best assets. They have a great search engine, they have a great product in Yahoo Answers, and they have Delicious. They just haven't really integrated those products, which is always a hard thing. My belief is that search is basically 3 pieces. Content, and here you see our page on Bob Dylan, facts, and Wikipedia's. I think it's about 30% of the search solution. It's having really good content. The second one is knowledge exchange. People trading questions. In fact, that's the primary way people do it in Korea. They get questions and answers, and it's just amazing. You ask a question on Naver or down, you get an answer within 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 60 seconds. It's not quite cha-cha, it's more of a community thing. But if you were to ask a question that is more than factual, it's really, really good. And the third piece are links. And links, to be honest, it's kind of the easiest piece of the puzzle. If I took the Google and Yahoo and Ask brands off of each of them, and I just gave you the 10 links, you would actually pick Yahoo slightly more than Google's. They actually have slightly better results, according to a lot of studies, than even Google's. Google has incredible brand, they're faster, and the speed of Google and the comfort and trust people have with it is probably why they have the market share they do. But in truth, Yahoo's are probably a little better, a little bit.